This fishbone diagram breaks down the root causes of near-miss medication errors. And I've broken it down into 5 subcategories. One is environment, equipment, process, communication, and people. Well, when you look at it, people, we're overwhelmed and overworked as nurses sometimes, or there's exhausted residents walking around, just such as in my hospital. The other one is the process. The pharmacists will have to review, and sometimes they're backed up, so that's a potential for a near miss because they're rushing along their workload. The other thing is in the process is incorrect med reconciliation. So when a patient comes to my unit, I'm not taking down all of the medication that they take, and then they are prescribed something that contraindicates the other. So it's very important for me to write every medication down and make sure that the physician knows every medication that the patient is taking. Not only that, but I also have to clarify if they have any medication with them, because if they come to the hospital and I'm giving them medication and they're taking their medication, that's a potential medication error as well, or an adverse effect of their medication. The other thing is equipment. Sometimes we're so reliable on technology that we rely on the Pyxis Satalis. The dosage tells us whether or not we have to cut a pill in half, if that's even possible. So sometimes there's malfunctions. Or the other thing is the medication won't scan when we go to scan for the patient, which is also difficult because then we have to manually put it in. So that's the other thing and also sometimes our equipment isn't available, so such as in a system breakdown. The other thing would be communication. So oftentimes a resident will put in a communication order for a medication change, and they don't know that that's not what you're supposed to do sometimes. So we have to really convey to them that they need to change the order completely. So simply because that could be a near miss as well. The other thing is verbal orders. Our hospital doesn't really do verbal orders anymore, but I do realize that there's other clinical settings that may still accept it. So if you aren't careful and don't do the repeat back to the physician, that's another way that you can get a near miss medication error. The other thing is environment. Distractions and disorganization. Sometimes the med room can be a little bit busy, and sometimes medications that have similar labels may be put together. So that's another source of a potential medication error as well.